We are going to learn Vatthupama Sutta. Thus have I heard, once the Blessed One was staying at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. There he addressed the monks thus, "Monks, Venerable Sir," they replied. The Blessed One said this: "Monks, suppose a cloth was stained and dirty, and a dyer dipped it in some dye or the other, whether blue or yellow or red or pink, it would take dye badly, and be impure in color. And why is that? Because the cloth was not clean. So too, monks, when the mind is defiled, an unhappy destination may be expected. Monks, suppose a cloth were clean and bright, and a dyer dipped it in some dye or the other, whether blue or yellow or red or pink, it would take the dye well and be pure in color. And why is that? Because the cloth was clean. So too, monks, when the mind is undefiled, a happy destination may be expected. And what, monks, are the defilement of the mind? Covetousness and unrighteous greed are defilement of the mind. So this covetousness is that having seen something, then one would be thinking that let this be mine. And for example, having seen a house, you would say this house is beautiful. What you meant was that if I have money, then I am happy to buy this one. And you check your pocket and you don't have enough money, then you are not going to buy that one. So there is this covetousness within us. The Pali term is abhijja. So this covetousness can be marked in this particular diagram. I will first explain this diagram. That this diagram is part of Dhamma that you are going to learn tomorrow. And there are 4 bad ways, and there are 4 nutriments, which is marks over here: physical nutriment, contact as nutriment, mental volition as nutriment, and consciousness as nutriment. Because of those 4 nutriments, we go 4 bad ways, and which is not marked over here. So we have taken part of that path and marked over here. There are 4 Dhamma parts. So what is this physical nutriment? The physical nutriment is the food that you are eating, is the physical nutriment. And also that we ourselves are a physical nutriment. If you give your body, to a crocodile, and it will eat it. So you are also physical nutriment. So you can see the physical nutriment is the food that you are eating, as well as the beautiful person, a person is a physical nutriment. Buddha gave in one discourse called Sun's Flesh Discourse. Buddha was telling that a father, mother, and a child, a baby, let's say, going in a desert path with some food with them. And those provisions they have during the, halfway through the desert, and they don't have any food. And then these people are thinking, now all 3 of us are going to die. So let us kill this our dearly loved son and eat the flesh of the son and cross the desert. So then they kill their son and eat the flesh of the son. And are they actually thinking that they are eating good food? They are thinking, where is my son? So they are actually beating their breast at that particular time. So Buddha said that physical nutriment is to be understood in this way. So need to think the food that we are eating is like this, our own son. So Buddha gave this discourse. So we ourselves we have to consider as a physical nutriment. If someone understands physical nutriment in this way, then he will become a never return. He won't come to this world, become anagama. So because of the physical nutriment, then you cling to the sensual desire. The food that you are eating today, you won't eat it tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and so on. And from that one, then we get the flood of sensual desire. It's called Kama Yoga, because it is becoming more and more. Today you are eating your food as well as the American food, Australian food, and so on. It's becoming more and more. So it comes to an unbearable state. In that particular state we call it barb of lust. The barb of lust is, let us say that this is the flood of sensual desire. So the flood is coming up, you are in a house and it's up to the nose level, and then it will lift you up with it. You don't have any control. It's like that young girl see a young boy, or young boy see a young girl, they are, the heart rate, is going up, beating. So that is because of this barb of lust. So when that one happened, and then we are going back to the physical nutriment. So because the physical nutriment is the one letting you come into the barb of lust state, then you are going back to the physical nutriment. In this state, if the father or mother was sort of saying, get rid of that girl, get rid of that boy, they can't, because something has wedged into their mind. So that is the first path. And then the next one is the contact as nutriment. To understand the contact as nutriment, that Buddha asked us to think about a skin cow. Again in that Sun's Flesh discourse. If a skin cow is nearby a parapet wall or something, the creatures in the parapet wall will bite her. If the skin cow is going underneath the water, then the creatures in the water will bite her. If the skin cow is in the open air, the creatures in the open air will bite her. Whatever way, it's bitten by those insects. So we are like a skin cow. Our eye is open. Whether you like it or not, you see forms. Our ear is open. Whether you like it or not, you hear sounds. So that's how we should be understanding this contact as nutriment. When you have the contact as nutriment, then we are going down this particular path. So it's sort of, you feel that we are always going down. But it is not so. We are first going from the left to the right. For example, let us say there is some sort of food in Afghanistan. If you have not heard about it, did not see about it, and there is no way for you to know or think about that particular food. So that means physical nutriment is the food, and it got to be contacted. So when the physical nutriment getting contacted, then the feeling come to arise, then the perception come to arise. From the perception, you perceive the feeling that has arisen. And the perception, you get the volition. What to do with it? I'm going to eat it, I'm going to fry it, and something like that one. And so volition is coming into play. From the volition, you get the volitional formations. Volition coordinates your feeling perceptions. So you get the volitional formations. From the volitional formations, you construct consciousness. Remember? In the first meditation, we said why it is volitional formations is construct, condition form as form, condition feeling as feeling, condition consciousness as consciousness is constructed. Now you can see the Dhamma is flowing from left to the right. Then why are we saying we are going down physical nutriment to barb of lust? There are other paths which we have not marked. So we get the consciousness. Then there is another path coming back to the physical nutriment, which is not marked over here. So it's like going to the right side and coming back. It's like going through the roundabout. So let us cut down the roundabout. Then you can see physical nutriment. We are going down. Clinging to sensual desire, Babu Plus. Similarly, contact as nutriment. You got to have the consciousness now. We are going down. So you got the feeling. And then you get the virtue and duty clinging. What is this virtue and duty clinging? Silabbata upadana in Pali. That you are holding the future. You are holding the future when you have good time. Let us say, in Sri Lanka over here, early days, people are not going to work on Sunday. Maybe that person is going to the fair and buy some vegetables and come back home, cook it. And then after that one, all of them are going to the river to have a bath. And then coming back, they are hungry and they are eating this food. And the husband and wife didn't have a fight. And the children are studying and so on. And they are happily eating. So at that time you are thinking, tomorrow will be like this one as well. So you hold the future. You might think this has happened to you when you know about this, world. You are grown up and then we are thinking. It is not like that. Let us say, these things are actually has happened when you do not know about these things. For example, a father and a son is going on somewhere, and then this little boy see someone getting down of a sort of a Pajero type vehicle with the boots and so on, ordering people to do this, do that and so on. Maybe they are constructing a bridge. This little boy liked this one, then he is asking from his father, who is that person? He is the engineer. So this little boy now think, okay, when I grow up, I will become an engineer. So he took the role model as an engineer. Maybe this little boy is sick and then he is going to the doctor. And in that place, you see that, people are in a queue taking medicines and so on. And doctor has got a, good reputation. So, let me become a doctor. So that person is actually holding the future, taking a role model. Now, this engineer, when he constructs a bridge, how long it will last? Maybe 80 years or so. But Buddha, when he is preaching Dhamma, Buddha is saying, whatever the wealth in this Anga Magadha, he was referring to the places in India, whatever wealth in these places, gold and so on, there are quite a lot of wealth in the first divine realm. If someone is practicing virtue on a full moon day, that person can be born in the divine world. So having heard this one, a lay person or a monk think, I practice virtue on full moon day thoroughly, so that I can be born in that divine world and I'll be dancing with those deities. So he holds the future. That one is a bigger bridge, isn't it? Because you will live 10 million years. The bridge I was talking about is this body. It's just 80 years. The other one will last longer. So what is actually thinking from this virtue? And then I will be born. So holding the future. So that is one part of virtue and duty clinging. There is another part. Probably you might have heard there was someone called Daruchi Putta in Buddhist discourses. He was practicing virtue very well and then he thought he is the Buddha. And one of the deities told him that you are not the Buddha, Buddha is somewhere else. So since he has the virtue, his mind is not shaken. So he thought that I have come to this Buddhahood. From the virtue you can't become the become an arahant. Virtuous Buddha was compared to a bark of a tree, not the heartwood. Virtue is good, but you can't attain Nibbana from virtue alone. The meditation we did this morning, concentration meditation, arising and passing, from that one you can attain Nibbana. So the virtue and duty clinging has two parts. One is the hold in the future, the other one is from this virtue, from this duty, I can become an arahant. So let us say you hold the future, then what you get is this ill will. Why we get ill will? The ill will is that we were talking about that, we are practicing virtue and going to the divine world and sort of scenario. But what we get ill will, because you are holding the future when you have a good time, and tomorrow comes, you are just about to go to work, you get a phone call from your office, don't come to work, you are fired. Then you get the ill will, because you thought that this is going to last. So, although you get the ill will, but if you are fired, you are actually going and finding another job. So the flood of existence, because you had the feeling, some sort of a pleasurable feeling arising from the contact, and you are holding the future now, you have the flood of existence. You want to be born in divine world, Brahma world and so on. And then when it comes to an unbearable state, then you get the barb of hate. So the barb of hate, I can tell you that my grandfather, he lived 100 years. Each time when we go to eat together, my mom is telling, always call grandfather before I eat. And grandfather is grumpy, that he is saying these people in the house can't cook well. And that food is good for me, but not for him. It's because his taste buds are gone. When we were born, we get the taste buds. And then, after that, we are not going to get these taste buds. They are vanishing. 100 years gone, quite a lot of taste buds are gone. Now he can't feel the taste. So he's angry every day, when he's going to eat. So that sort of a hate is there. When you have the barb of hate, we are going back to the feeling. You see, what my grandfather is telling. Let me have the feeling I used to have when I was young, when I was small. So, in other words, you come to the barb of hate, you are going back to the feeling in this case. So, on the third path, the mental volition as nutriment. As I said, the volition coordinates your feeling and perception. And then, what to do with those things to make you go in this samsara, your existence. So, then you get the view clinging. You get the views that I am here and so on. So, those views become more and more, so the flood of views. And then you get the barb of views. When you have the barb of views, that we are going back to the perception. Because perception is the one that allows you to come into the barb of views. So, therefore, it's going back and holding this perception. So, and then the fourth path, consciousness as nutriment, then we get the self-theory clinging. That means having perceived a self, you cling to it. One good example is that, on the beach, you can see some people with this board. They are floating on that particular board, and then they are asking, others to watch them, video me, and so on. So now he is actually thinking that I exist on the top of the board. So now here I am, I feel, I perceive. Having perceived a self, that person cling to that one. So that is self-theory clinging. So from that one you get the flood of ignorance, and it become more and more, then you get the barb of ignorance, barb of delusion is coming over there. So when you have the barb of delusion, we go and hold the volitional formations, because the volitional formation is the one coming, letting us come through the consciousness as nutriment path. So this is the diagram. You will sort of know more about it tomorrow. So we were talking about the covetousness. So the covetousness will somewhere here between this, the line 1 marked over here, to the left side of the line 1, and after the sensual desire we get the covetousness. In other words, let this be mine. And then we have this ill will. So in ill will, you are saying, let this guy be dead. So do I say such a thing? Do we say such a thing? We do. Without knowingly we do that sort of thing. You see, sometimes let us say, you are going to work. It is this 9 o'clock your work start, and then 8:30 maybe you put your vehicle to the road, and in front of you someone is driving on a 60 road, driving at 30 speed, and you probably horn and would and sort of say that this type of people should not be on the road at this type of hour. So that person may be the one actually going to the hospital, but in your opinion, that person should not be there. So that is the ill will. So you did not actually say in the same word that let this guy be dead, but that is what you meant by that time. So the ill will is marked over here. Anger is a defilement of the mind. So anger is marked over here after the barb of hate. So what is this anger? The anger is that you are thinking that this particular person is harming me, and this person is harming my friends, relatives, and so on. So you get the anger. Or else, let us say, if that person is helping your enemy, you don't like that one either. For example, one country does not like the other countries joining with the enemy country. So then you get the anger. So this anger has got sort of a permanency associated with it. The permanency associated with it means, take my grandfather's example. When he is going to eat, he is getting angry. And then what he actually asking, let me have the feeling that I used to have. So he is thinking that it is permanent. I can have it. Well, you can't have it because you are subject to aging, therefore you don't get it. So the anger has got the permanency inside it. Whenever we spin, when we come to the barb of lust, remember I was telling, we are going back to the physical nutriment, it is spinning. When we get the contact as nutriment, we get the feeling. When you go to the barb of hate, we are going back to the feeling. Whenever we are spinning like that, you get the permanency created because of that. So the anger has got the permanency inside the anger. And sometimes it is visible, isn't it? Sometimes that you tell your friend, this particular person is troubling me so much. And then having listened to that one, your friend is saying, do you know that person has got a sickness? Doctor has given him sort of 6 months to live. The 5 months has been passed and he might die tomorrow also. In that case, you don't have the anger for that one. So the permanency is not there because he is going to die. The permanency is there inside the anger. And then we have the hostility. Upanaha is Pali word it's written over here, the hostility. The hostility, you first you get the anger and then you have the grudging. So, when you have the hostility, you sort of label. In the supermarket there is a machine labeling $2.50, $3.50 and so on for the goods. Likewise, we label people. This is a bad one, this is a good one, this is a bad one, this is a good one. We label them. And now our labeling has got a big problem, because sometimes when we label someone as a good person, what would you do that person is doing a bad thing? You look the other way around. One good example is that in Sri Lanka you have these one-way streets. So if you want to go through that one-way street wrong way, then when you see a policeman, they ask from the policeman, do you need a lift? That person says yes. Then you take him in the front of the car, front seat, and then drive. And there is another policeman at the end of the road to stop these people coming in wrong way. But now he actually sees the policeman is coming. The policeman has labeled the policeman as a good one, law-abiding person. Now, when he is actually doing a bad thing, what would you do? You look the other way around, as if you did not see him. And on the other hand, if you have labeled someone as a bad person, then you don't like that person to do a good thing as well. Sometimes to the temple, people who are selling drugs, alcohol, and that sort of people are coming. So, those people who are coming to the temple in the other normal days, and this person is coming very occasionally over there. So, they are talking to each other. Look, that bad man is over here. I don't know why he is here. He might have come for, giving alms to his mother passed away, to give the alms to the Buddhist monks. But since we have labeled him as a bad person, then we don't like him to do the good things either. And this is wrong. Buddha does not sort of label person as a bad person or good person. Buddha is saying it's not the person, it's the action. Killing is wrong, is bad. Not the person, the action. Killing is bad. Stealing, those things are bad. Not the person. The person who has been killing, in the past, today, he might be a good person. Angulimala is a good example. He killed 999 people and then Buddha ordained him and he became an arahant. So, if we are going to look the way Buddha is looking, then we need to look at that person as a new person. Yesterday person, he might have changed, so it's a different person. So you judge by the actions. Bad ones are bad. The actions, not the person. Sometimes that you have labeled that person as the number 10, naughty, bad person. But then sometimes you won't be able to read that number later on. Label might remain. One good example is, let us say that you are sick, you are going to see the doctor. In the doctor's place, and there is this bad guy. You have labeled him as bad 10. But you are sick and you are going to collapse. Maybe you are going to faint and that person is offering you a chair. You are going to die, he is give you some water. Now you change, you will look little bit differently. To your friend you are saying, I thought that person is really bad guy, but he is the one who gave me a chair. He is the one who gave me some water. So you sort of change, the number 10 you can't now read, but still the label is there. So the hostility has caused the differences in volitional formations. You see, if I am a person drinking alcohol and another person is drinking alcohol, would I label him as a drunken fellow? I wouldn't, because I am also drinking. But if I am not drinking alcohol and the other person is drinking alcohol, then I would label him a drunken fellow. So you can see the difference is that I am not drinking, he is drinking. So the differences in volitional formations are there in the hostility. And the permanence is associated with the anger. Those two things you need to remember. And the next one is the derogation. The derogation is marked over here. The Pali word is makka. Some people are translating the derogation as contempt. The contempt is not a correct word over there, because contempt is that the feeling that a person is worthless. And the derogation is the perception or treatment of someone as being of little worth. It is the perception, not a feeling. So we haven't got a proper word anyway to explain this makka. So let us go by example for you to understand it. Let us say that I am working in office and I got a degree and I got a experience. And yes, there is a colleague of mine who got the same degree, but he has got less experience. So there is a promotion coming in the office, then we both apply. And then in the interview, the departmental head decide, although that person is less experienced, they are clever, he is clever, and giving him the job. So I will be silent. You see, not every job you can get from this degree and experience. There is one job you can't, whatever the degree you pass, you can't. What is that job? Kinghood. To become a king, you need to be born in king's family. To be born in the king's family, then you must have done meritorious deeds. 4 meritorious deeds should be there. So it's not from the degree. So I will be silent. Let us say this person is now promoted. He is working in that job. And then after 2 or 3 months time, someone in that section running to me and say, look, they should have given you the job. That person is not qualified. And at that particular time, cat will jump out of the cage. It says, yes, that job should have been given to me. He is not qualified. And you can see, then I am taking some qualities. Derogation is, taking away. You are taking some qualities away from that particular person. Well, am I actually taking the qualities out of a particular person? Or am I, if I dig little bit deeper, you can see I am taking out the faith quality of the departmental head. The departmental head may be the person who selected me in the first place for my job. At that time, his stream of consciousness was flowing in my direction. And I was so happy, I thought it's coming my direction. And it will continue to be so. That he will promote me, he will, look after me and so on. Now his stream of consciousness is not flowing in my direction, it went into my colleague. So in that case, I take the quality out of the departmental head, the faith quality. The good boss scenario now is gone. So the faith quality is taken out. So this is the derogation or the makka in Pali, the external. The internal one is more harmful than that one. Let us take another example. Let us say there are 2 monks, younger monk and the senior monk. The younger monk, when he is going arms round, having seen a beautiful woman, and he disrobe himself and getting married to that woman and have children and then have lay life. The senior monk, when he is going on the arms round later on, find this previously the monk now has become a lay person, having this household life. Now he blame this monk, you don't have faith, the wisdom, concentration, effort, mindfulness regarding the Buddha. And at that particular time, that previously the junior monk is now saying, the Bhante, addressing the senior monk as Bhante, saying, that my mother is there? No. In other words, that I disrobe myself to look after the mother. According to Mahanidesa, that is the biggest lie. He did that one to go in samsara, birth to birth. But now he is actually telling a different story, covering it up. So although that junior monk escaped from the senior monk by saying this one, that person, when he is going home, he remember what the senior monk said is right. When I was in the temple, I was meditating. I had the concentration, wisdom, faith. All those things were there with me. Now, because of this woman, I lost all those things. So he might go home and sort of fight with his wife. Even if he does not fight, at the end of the day, going to sleep, he might think my faith, wisdom, concentration, and all those qualities are gone, no more with me. So that is the derogation external. So if we take the first example, the office example, then you can see the stream of consciousness of my departmental head was flowing towards me. I was happy that he will promote me, he will look after me, and so on. Now when his stream of consciousness is not flowing in my direction, then I took his quality away. So in other words, derogation is stemming from the anger. The permanence inside anger is now there in the derogation. I was thinking that his stream of consciousness will flow in my direction all the time. So you need to remember this one for your meditation, that the derogation is stemming from anger, and the anger has the permanency associated with it, because we are demanding a kind of feeling that we used to have, like my grandfather demanding. And then the next one is the disparaging. So disparaging is marked over here, palasu. So this one, well, again, to understand, sometimes people translate it as insolence. To understand this one, let us take a couple of examples. Let us say I have a friend, and my friend later on got another friend. I don't like him. Maybe his nose is, a bit crooked. Maybe he is limping. I find something like that. In schools, they do have this bullying and harassment. What do they pick up? They pick up, the nose is this way, limping or something. Something because of the unskilled states that he had, we are picking up that one, and then we are trying to separate that person. That's always the case. So, in disparaging, I want to separate the new friend from my old friend. And that is the external, disparaging external. The internal part is more damaging, more harmful. When I was in Sri Lanka, I went to a hospital to see a sick person. And then I can hear from the next room, someone is yelling, "Please cut my leg and put it out." Because he has got a wound in his leg and it is so painful, so he can't tolerate it. He wants doctors to cut it out. But doctors are not doing that one. So what is he trying to do? At once I understood this way. I thought he is trying to separate unskilled state of the mind from the skilled state of the mind. And it was Sahampati Mahaprabhu who corrected me, saying that he is not trying to separate the unskilled state of the mind from the skilled state of the mind. What he is trying to separate is from the less unskilled state of the mind from the more unskilled state of the mind. The part with the wound, that leg part, is the more unskilled state of the mind. Part without the wound is the less unskilled state of the mind. So, we are trying to separate from the less part from the more part. If you are skillful, you won't be born. Because we are unskilled, we will be born. So, just imagine, by the time of death, your whole body is bad, you can't even breathe in. The mind part is good. So the disparaging separates the mind from the body. So now, if you take the first example, then you can see the disparaging is stemming from the hostility. See, if I am not drinking alcohol, if another person is drinking alcohol, I would label him as a drunken fellow. So that is the hostility. And that drunken fellow become a friend of my friend, then I want to remove him. So you can see the disparaging is stemming from hostility. Similarly, remember we talk about the derogation is stemming from anger. And then next one is envy. That is not tolerating others' gains. That is envy. So that one is marked over here, envy. So why do we have this envy? The office example is a good one, isn't it? That I didn't get the job, the other person got the job. So when he got the job, then I have this envy for him. But you see, there are jobs in Afghanistan, and then people are getting promoted. If you are in Australia, do you care? You don't care if those people are promoted. And there are jobs in UK, USA and so on. People are getting promoted. But if you are in Australia, you don't care about those things either. So let us say that there are some promotions in Sydney. If you are in Melbourne, you don't care about those things either. Sometimes in Melbourne, you are working in a one building, the next building, they are actually giving promotion. For that one also you don't care. So what's the problem here? The problem is that as soon as I apply for that particular job, I took that job as mine. It is my job they have given. That's why I have this envy. So in other words, the envy is stemming from derogation. Derogation can be thought as, when you take this matter, feeling, perception, volitional formation and consciousness as mind, then the post-perception of that one you can consider as a derogation. You can even meditate. Other than the identity view, you can meditate on derogation instead of the identity view. So you can see the envy is coming from derogation. I took the job as mine. And in envy, you are thinking the other person is actually having a good time. And permanently is having a good time. I am separated from that one. This permanency part is coming from the derogation. Remember, derogation got the permanency from the anger. Because the derogation is coming from anger, stemming from the anger. Anger has got the permanency. So why do we say that person, that I am envy, and that person is having a good time? Let us say, in the meeting, in the interview, that you sort of hear that you didn't get the job, the other person got the job. And but some unfortunate thing happened. When that person was walking to the his office, he collapsed and died. Maybe because of the pressure or something. And if you hear that one, do you have any envy for that person? You don't. Why? Because what you thought is that he is having a good time, permanently having a good time, is no longer there. And also that they should separate you from that happiness as well, to have the envy. For example, if the departmental head says that, okay, I will give him that job, but I will give you a similar job, the same salary, in a different section. Do you care? He got that one, I got this one. We both got the same thing. So that is how the envy comes in. So now we need to understand envy is stemming from derogation. The derogation is stemming from anger. They both, those three terms inherit the permanency. Permanency generated from the barb of hate, demanding the same feeling. So is it worth that we do have this envy nature for other people? It is not. You see, let us say you did not get the promotion. Then 5 o'clock you take the bag and go home. 7 o'clock you have cooked and probably you have eaten and you are going to do the meditation. What happened to the person who got the promotion? He is still in the office. That person even could not eat. So we have this envy nature for the person who is actually suffering. In my office in Australia, there was one person, one clever person, European, working, and when we are going home at 5 o'clock, he is there. When we are coming back tomorrow morning, he is still there. It looks like he has never left. He is working up to 3 o'clock in the morning. And then going home and coming back at 5 o'clock. 2 hours sleeping. Because he got a promotion and he could not cope the amount of work, the time. So that sort of persons, we are looking at these persons and we have this envy nature for that one. It's not worth. So then next one is the jealousy or stinginess. The stinginess is marked over here. Sometimes translated as avarice. So stinginess is fivefold. And there is this stinginess or sometimes meanness concerning dwelling, stinginess regarding family, stinginess regarding the gain, the stinginess regarding the reputation, and stinginess regarding the doctrine. So if I take this, the stinginess regarding the sort of gain, now let us say one vendor is selling 2 types of cans. One type of cans is selling for $2, and then when it is eaten by people, it's he got a $1 profit out of that one, and it's good for people. And he is selling another type of cans, and then when he actually sells that particular can, he get more profit. Let us say $2 profit. But it's not good for these people. That it's poison and chemicals are there. Which can that this person would like to sell? He certainly would like to sell, although it is harmful, he would like to sell those, let's say $2 profit can compared to the $1 profit. So now you can see this stinginess is actually stemming from disparaging. How do you see that one? Remember, in the hostility, we mark, let's say, $2, or let us say the other one is $5, $2 or $5. And then this, so that is the marking, labeling it. And then you go to the disparaging, you separate. No, I'm not going to sell, $1 profit one. I want to sell $2 profit one. So then you get the gain out of that one. Stinginess regarding the gain. So you can see stinginess is now stemming from disparaging. Disparaging is stemming from the hostility. Those 3 terms has got the differences in volitional formations. So you need to remember that part for the meditation. Next one is the hypocrisy. So sometimes it's labeled as deceit, which is not marked over here. That is this, again, good way to understand using an example. Let us say someone having done some wrong thing, that person want to cover it up. He or she does not want others to know about it. Let us say in a village there are two singers. One person's songs are being played on radio. Other person's songs are not being played. Not much. So, not very often. So, then this person is sort of envy about the person whose songs are being played. So, this person is going to have contact with the people who are broadcasting these songs, and then she would offer these persons with, some liquor, or maybe give them some sort of a lunch or something, or may have sexual misconduct with them. So now this person's songs are being played. So the people in the village says, we can now hear your songs, and they are nice, and so this person is now happy to hear about it, but shaking the head, taking that credit. But that person does not want others to know about it, how I achieve this particular thing. So that is this hypocrisy or maya in Pali. And then next one is the fraud. The fraud also not marked over here in the diagram. There are some vendors in Sri Lanka, they are used to have some vendors, they are selling 900 grams instead of 1000. And they charge for 1 kilo. They altered the scale and they were asking for this particular price. So you can sort of think that this is something to do with this, material gain, the stinginess regarding the gain. But this sateya or the fraud is a higher term. If you get rid of fraud, then you can go to 7th jhana concentration. And then next term to learn is the obstinacy. Obstinacy is marked over here in the diagram, is tambo, is the Pali word. It is the mental rigidity or the inflexibility of consciousness. That is the obstinacy. So because of this mental rigidity that we fight, at home, and this is a good thing, that good example where two people are fighting is because of the obstinacy. I will give you an example later on for that one. And then the next one, number 12, is the presumption. Presumption is marked down below obstinacy. And another good word is the competition. One vendor does not like to another vendor putting up sort of store, selling the same thing. It's okay if you are selling food and the other person selling hardware, but not the same thing. So the competition. And someone asked Buddha, a Brahmin asked Buddha, why did you become a monk? And Buddha gave from Gathas. Buddha said that it is because of this competition. That's why, he became a Buddha, became a monk first. And the next one is the conceit. So the conceit is not marked, but we can actually mark it over here. You see, there's this line 1. Coming from clinging to sensual desire, physical need to one side, is going to the volitional formations. If you take that line strongly, then you get the conceit that you are inferior. How do you understand this one? That pig is eating excrement. Since pig is eating excrement, you have given pig a lower value. And then, cow is eating grasses. So because the cow is eating grasses, you have given cow a lower value. But you are eating broccoli. The broccoli is like a tree, isn't it? So the Brahmas, in the Brahma world, they look at him and say, these people are eating trees. And they have given you a lower value. You don't mind eating broccoli. But for the Brahma, it's not good one. And the pig does not mind eating excrement. But for you, it is not a good thing. So this is a relative thing. So then, if you have a pen or pencil, you can write down in the line 1. If you take this particular line strongly, then you get the conceit that you are inferior on line 1. And then if you take this line too strongly, then you get the conceit that you are equal. How do you get that one? It's coming from the virtue and duty clinging. You see that engineering student who want to become an engineer, he going to the first year in the uni, he hasn't done the exam yet. He is thinking that he is an engineer. Medical student is always thinking, I am a doctor. And similarly, the person who is practicing virtue, for the sake of being born in the divine world, he is thinking that I am equivalent to a divine being. After that, that's where I am going. But this person, before fulfilling his, virtue, he might pass away and be born in hell also. But this person is now actually thinking that I am equal. So in line 2, you can write down, if you take this line too strongly, then you get the conceit that I am equal. And then if you take this line 3 strongly, it is coming from view clinging to the volitional formations, then you get the conceit that I am superior. Because I am tall, because I am beautiful, because I got money and so on. So you get the superior. So you can see line 1 is inferior, line 2 is equal, line 3 you have to hold in thoroughly, means you are superior. So then next one is the arrogance. Arrogance is marked over here. So this is the excessive conceit. So it says here a certain one by birth or by clan or by good family, by this reason or another, he is consider himself above others. Now, the one good way to explain arrogance is that if you take a 16-year-old girl, if she is beautiful, she is arrogant, isn't it? So that is a cause for this arrogance, having the wrong view. And then the condition for arrogance is that general condition is the lack of virtue, not having the virtue, and then you become arrogant. Now from the arrogance you can see this obstinacy. From the arrogance you get the presumption of competition. So I said that I will give you an example why people are fighting at home or in the office or whatever. Let us take a simple example. Let us say, to my house, tomorrow some people are coming for dinner. Tomorrow morning comes, my wife is telling, please go and buy an ice cream. Some people are coming tonight for dinner. We need to give them a dessert. So, as a person who has understood this, who has going through this Buddha's Dhamma teaching, Buddha is telling that we are eating just for the maintenance of the body, not for beautification, not to put on bulk or anything like that one. So, if it is the case, what's the ice cream going to do? So that is my view, my opinion, that we don't need to give ice cream. It's okay to give them rice and curry or something to eat, but we don't need to give an ice cream. So that is my view. So I come through this third path, Milton volitional path. This is the view path. And then I am going to obstinacy. I am saying I am not going to buy an ice cream. You don't need. I cut down from my mind. Again I am going to the anger. This going through the second path, going to the anger. Why am I angry? I am thinking this person in my house, my wife, is harming me. Because I am holding to some sort of volitional formation. My volitional formation is that my meditation. If I am going to buy an ice cream, then I have to sacrifice that time. So I am saying my wife is harming me for my meditation. In the office sometimes people are troubling you. Are they actually troubling you? Or are they actually troubling you the work that you do? They are actually troubling the work that you do. So when they trouble the work, your volitional formations, then you consider that it is a trouble for me. So I have gone through this third path, and the second path, I come to the anger over here, I go to the obstinacy. I am saying I am not going to buy an ice cream. My wife is also, certainly she went through this third path. She got a view. If someone is coming to the house, give them an ice cream for the dessert. Other than that one, she is going through another path. Which one is it? Is it the first path, or the second path, or the fourth one? Certainly it is the first one, isn't it? The ice cream is the physical nutriment, food that you eat. And she is spinning that one in the barb of lust. She is not asking you to buy the ice cream. No, not to buy. She is not asking you to buy something that she does not eat. No, she wants to give the others, and then she can also eat it. So she is spinning that one in the barb of lust. So she went through the first path and the third path, and then going to the obstinacy. She is saying, she is insisting, you should go and buy an ice cream. So now you can see it's like two bulls putting their horns together. I am saying I am not going to buy. She is saying, please, you need to go and buy ice cream. How long you stay like that one? Sometimes you don't even talk for 2 days, 3 days, or a week or something like that. Then sooner you actually take this one out, it's easier for your life. How do you take out? You need to let go of what you are actually holding. What I was holding? The meditation. That is my volitional formation. The obstinacy always hold into some volitional formation as this is mine. So, what I am thinking, okay, if she needs this ice cream that badly, oh, let me not do the meditation today, I can do it tomorrow. So, my one is now loosen up over there. Stiffness is no longer there, mental rigidity is not there. Or maybe wife is thinking, if this ice cream thing is harming for his meditation that much, it's okay for me not to have the ice cream. So the mental rigidity on the part of eating the ice cream is also gone. So that's the obstinacy. You see the father fighting with the son, mother fighting with the daughter, all the fights over there. Father is thinking father is right. That's the view, this view coming from the third one. And the son is thinking he is right. So those views are the ones hitting each other. And then you are in the middle, fighting and subject to the same thing, suffering. So next one is the vanity. Mado is the Pali word, and that the vanity is that because of the clan, for example, that one may be thinking, I am Australian, Buddhist, and so on. Or in Africa, for example, certain clans, they actually think, tribes people say they think that, they are killing the other tribe because they are not their tribe. Or there can be vanity because of the health. If someone, says that that person has got cancer, then if you do not have the cancer, what is coming to your mind? Oh, it's good I don't have it. So that means other person is dying, then I am going to live. So because of the health, you get the vanity. So now we learn 15 terms. Next one is the negligence is a defilement of the mind. Sometimes parents are saying, this child is neglectful, not studying, watching TV, playing games and so on. What has happened to that person? That person was subject to the sensual thoughts, TV, playing games and so on, sensual happiness, and that makes sort of a lethargic person in that case. Neglectfulness is a root of delusion, according to the Pitaka. So now we learn 16 terms. Knowing monks covetousness and unrighteous greed to be a defilement of the mind, the monk abandons them. Knowing ill will to be a defilement of the mind, he abandons it. Knowing anger to be a defilement of the mind, he abandons it. So similarly, these 16 terms that we just discussed, knowing negligence to be a defilement of the mind, he abandons it. When in the monk, who thus knows that covetousness and unrighteous greed are a defilement of the mind, this covetousness and unrighteous greed have been abandoned. When him who thus knows that ill will is a defilement of the mind, this ill will has been abandoned. When in him who thus knows the negligence is defilement of the mind, this negligence has been abandoned. He thereupon gains unwavering confidence in the Buddha. Thus indeed, the Blessed One, he is accomplished, fully enlightened, endowed with clear vision and conduct, sublime knower of the world, the incomparable guide of men, who are tractable, the teacher of gods and men, enlightened and blessed. Here we are talking about the Buddha's qualities. It's a Gatha, it's Itipiso Gatha. The meaning of that one is the one that is mentioned over here. Let us spend some time to sort of look at this one. And Buddha has got 73 knowledges, but out of that one, Buddha is saying about 3 knowledges in many discourses. One is Buddha has the ability to recall past births. Many thousands, many eons of births he can recall, and your ones also Buddha can recall. And that is called Pubbē Nivanasuti Jnana. And Buddha has got another knowledge, that Buddha can say this person having done these bad things, and then this person will be born in these bad places, netherworld, we are going to hell and so on. This person having done good things will be born in these such and such places. About the future, Buddha can say. It's called Chutupapata Jnana in Pali. And Buddha destroyed cankers, taints, asrava in Pali. And Buddha can teach you how to destroy yours as well. So these 3 knowledges Buddha is sort of elaborating most of the discourses. And then Buddha has got this something called conduct. There are 15 conducts called Charana Dhamma or conduct. And this Charana Dhamma, the conduct is sort of explaining something called Sekapatipada Sutta, the practice for one in training. That is the 53rd discourse in the middle length saying. This is Venerable Ananda is actually explaining. Now this 15 is divided into 4, 7 and another 4. The first 4 is that a disciple of the Noble One consummate in virtue. You see, we got to have the virtue. For example, you need to refrain from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and refrain from lying, harsh speech, and so on. And then the next one is, how does one disciple of the Noble Ones guard the doors to sense faculties, controlling faculties? But what happens if you don't control your faculties? You see something from your eye, you are saying this person is beautiful. It doesn't take another millisecond for you to find some sort of a fault or defect in that particular person's, body, for example, a pimple or something. Since you have seen people without pimples and so on, then, then you get, you go into these angry states. You get the sadness. So then, other than getting that on, it would be better for you to control your faculties. And the third one how the disciple of the Noble One knows moderation in eating. Moderation in eating means that you are eating just for the maintenance of the body, not for the beautification, not to put on bulk and so on. And that, although Buddha said in these terms, what Buddha meant was a really big thing. Let us say you are eating something over here, and the salt is missing for your curry. Wouldn't that be good enough for you to get up and then walk to the kitchen and take the salt bottle from your, cupboard and walk back to this table? What are you doing? We are reacting to the feeling. If you are reacting to the feeling, then the concentration due to mind won't last. So we always do this. So here we are talking about the things that are leading to the spiritual power. What is called Iddhipada. That's what Buddha is talking about. Now a little while ago we were talking about guarding the sense faculties. For what? Because of the concentration due to desire, Chanda Samadhi has got two enemies. The covetousness, and then you get the sadness. So you don't want to have that one. Therefore, you are this controlling your eye. Again, is leading to the spiritual power. And then the fourth one, how does the disciple of the Noble One send devoted to wakefulness? Here, there is the case where a monk during a day sitting and facing back and forth cleanses his mind of any qualities that would hold the mind in check. That means you are trying to do, the whole day. I don't want sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, 5 hindrances. And at the night time, you check back. Did I have a sensual thought today? Sensual desire? If he did have it, then he get rid of it. If he doesn't, then he is happy. So that is the fourth one. And then there are another 7. The first one is that the disciple of the Noble One has got conviction, faith about the Buddha's enlightenment. And that is the first one out of the 7. Second lot. And he feels shame. That is at the bodily misconduct, verbal misconduct, mental misconduct. He is ashamed of those things. Hirimaho. And then he feels concern. That is otappa. He feels fear of doing bad things like killing, stealing. And the fourth one is he has heard much. Has restrained what he has heard. Has told what he has heard. Is very important. Bahusutta. These days you are hearing so many wrong dhamma. Some people are saying Buddha is, Buddha is be born in Sri Lanka. Buddha never been born in Sri Lanka. Always in India. There are reasons for that one. Without knowing these things, people say that one, and having said this one, they are going for the hell. Very bad to say those things. Not knowing, those people are doing it. But if you know Dhamma, then you know that it is not possible. So, the next one is that he has got the persistence aroused, abandoning unskilled mental qualities and taking skillful mental qualities. And that effort is very important. The first effort we were talking about this morning, not to have the sensual thought, ill thought and harming thought. Unless you have those effort, then you won't be able to get into this persistence. And the sixth one is mindful. He can remember things that are said and done long time ago. And he got the wisdom. The seventh one is the wisdom. Wisdom from the arising and by contemplating, arising and passing away phenomena. The meditation you just did little while ago. So now 4 plus 7, 11. There are another 4 That is this, you have this first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, concentration. So those are the conduct. So if with the three knowledges, if you think about these 15 conduct, then you can make the 5 powers to 5 faculties. This Sekapatipada Sutra is a very valuable discourse. When you learn about this discourse, study it, and then tomorrow you are going to do any meditation, then your mind tend to get concentrated because of that. And so here we learn a little bit of the meaning of the Itipiso Gatha. And then he says he thereupon gave unwavering confidence in the Dhamma, well proclaimed by the Blessed One is the Dhamma, realizable here and now, possessed of immediate results, bidding you come and see, accessible and knowable individually by the wise. That is this Swakhato Bhagavata Dhamma, the Gatha, meaning of that one. This Dhamma is for the wise persons. And then he gains unwavering confidence in the Sangha. The Sangha of the Blessed One's disciples has entered on the good way, has entered on the straight way, has entered on the true way, has entered on the proper way. That is to say, the 4 pairs of men, the 8 types of persons, this Sangha of the Blessed One, disciple is worthy of gifts, worthy of hospitality, worthy of offering, worthy of reverential salutation. The incomparable field of merit for the world. So, that is this. There are 8 persons. When we say 8 persons, they are, the noble ones. Stream, entry, path, and the fruit. 2 persons, a pair. And once written, path and the fruit. That is the second stage of sainthood. That is Sakudagami. And Anagami, the never returner. The third stage of sainthood. The entry and that is path and the fruit. And the Arahant, the path and the fruit. So those 8 persons are the Sangha. So when he has given up, renounced, let go, abandoned and relinquish, in part he knows I am endowed with unwavering confidence in the Buddha, in the Dhamma and the Sangha. He gains enthusiasm for the goal, gains enthusiasm for the Dhamma, gains gladness connected with Dhamma. When he is glad, joy is born. In him, being joyous in mind, his body becomes tranquil. His body being tranquil, he feels happiness. And the mind of him who is happy becomes concentrated. So there are 5 terms we learn here. The gladness, the joy, the tranquility, the happiness, and the concentration. When you give Buddhist monks some alms giving or do some charity, then you are happy that day. If somebody else is coming up asking for the help, yeah, I can help you. When the purse is out, you feel like giving. The purse is inside, you feel like keep it inside. So the gladness has got the ability to produce higher gladness. That is called rapture. So in your head, the pleasure is flowing through the body. Now, just imagine you are sitting down on that chair. If it is painful, you feel like going away. But if the rapture is there in your head, flowing through the body, you feel like staying here. So what is the rapture is doing? You get rid of your physical unhappiness. And why you feel like going? Then you are looking for whether there is a comfortable seat somewhere. So your mind is outside, looking for a chair, comfortable chair. But if the rapture is here, you feel like staying inside. I don't want to go anywhere. I found the happiness over here. So there is the physical tranquility and the mental tranquility. Both are there. From the joy, you get the tranquility. When there is tranquility, your mind is inwardly composed. You are not looking for chairs outside. Therefore, you have the happiness, sukha. From the happiness, you get the concentration. So 5 things. From the gladness, you get the joy. From the joy, you get the tranquility. From the tranquility, you get the happiness. From the happiness, you get the concentration. And if a monk of such virtue, such concentration, such wisdom, eats alms food consisting of choice hill rice together with various sauces and curries, even that will be no obstacle for him. Such as cloth that is stained and dirty become clean and white with the help of pure water. Or just as gold become clean and white with the help of furnace, so too if a monk of such virtue, such concentration and such wisdom eats alms food consisting of choice hill rice together with various sauces and curries, even that will be no obstacle for him. He abides having suffused with a mind of loving kindness in one direction of the world. Likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise fourth, and so above, below, around and everywhere, and to all. He abides suffused in the entire universe with loving kindness, with a mind grown great, lofty, boundless, and free from enmity and ill will. So here we are spreading metta, loving kindness. Let these people be well and so on. So you are spreading loving kindness to the directions, north, east, west, above and below. So when you see in the north side, there are human beings, there are animals. Those who are spreading loving kindness to them. And then you go a little bit further, then you can see in that there are divine worlds. The hells are there in between, and then the divine worlds. You are spreading loving kindness to quite a lot over there. Now, is the human beings over here are more, or the divine beings are more? It's the divine beings. You see, we have sort of 7 billion over here. In the first divine world, there are 72 billion. Next one, 700 billion. It goes up. When you go to the first jhana realm, there are about 1 trillion Brahmas. So you are spreading loving kindness to quite a lot in those worlds. And likewise, the east, south, west, above and below. And is there anything over here it says that let I be well? There is no such a thing. Buddha never said it. So then don't say it. It has spread like a virus, let I be well. It is wrong to say that one. So tomorrow you will learn why it is wrong to say that one. It's like that you are nailing your own coffin. You can't get out when you do that one. You are sort of forming a view, a self view. So you can't get rid of the self view when you do this. So spread the loving kindness to all others, not to you, to all the other people. So similarly, he is spreading loving kindness as well as the compassion, karuna, and then appreciative joy, mudita, and the equanimity, upekka. So to the whole entire directions, to the other living beings. So what is this loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy and equanimity? Metta, karuna, mudita, upekka. They are doors to the Nibbana. But this person understands these are only doors. We are all in a cage of the evil one. When we try to get out of the cage, he is actually giving us something. So we are back into the cage. So this loving kindness, compassion and so on, they are the door to Nibbana, to get out of this cage. Now he understands these are only doors, not the Nibbana itself. That is what is said this next to it. He understands what exists, what is low, what is excellent. What escape there is from this whole field of perception. He understands these are only doors. When he knows and sees in this way, his mind becomes liberated from the canker of sensual desire, liberated from the canker of becoming, liberated from the canker of ignorance. When liberated, there is knowledge, it is liberated. And he knows birth is exhausted. The life of purity has been lived. The task is done. There is no more of this to come. Such a monk is called one bathed with inner bathing. You see, although you have a bath, in a river or whatever, it won't purify you. Because inside us, what we have is the envy, the stinginess, derogation, and all those things are there. Although we have shower, we have a bath, it won't purify you. But Buddha said, if you actually purify from these terms, get rid of envy, derogation and so on, then you have the inner, you are cleansing your inside. And since this bathing is sort of mentioned, there was someone called this Bharadwaja, Sundarika Bharadwaja. Then he was asking whether the Buddha is going to have a bath in one of the Bahuka river. And then Buddha said, what's the point of doing that one? Then this person said that people have got this idea that it will purify, when you have a bath from this particular river. And Buddha is saying that the person who is doing these bad things, bloody-handed person killing other living beings, whatever way he is going to have a bath, it won't purify him. He says, "O Brahmin, that you should bathe here. It is here." That means get rid of these 16 defilements to make yourself safe refuge for all beings. And if you speak no untruth, no work any harm for breathing things, no take what is not offered, with faith, with no stinginess, what is there with Gaya gone? It won't do anything, If you cleanse your mind from these 16 defilements, then even your well would be your Gaya. So when this was said, Brahmin Bharadwaja said, "Magnificent Master Gautam, magnificent Master Gautam, the Dhamma has been made clear in many ways by Master Gautam." And then he was asking Buddha to ordain him, and then he became a monk, and later on he became an arahant. So that is the discourse. So how do we going to meditate? For the meditation, you are not going to use 16 terms, you are going to use only 4. So what are they? Envy, stinginess, the derogation, and disparaging. Those are the 4 things. Envy, stinginess, derogation, and disparaging. So, do we have them? Yes, we do, isn't it? You need to shake the sack a little bit, then it will come out, your envy. When you are meditating, don't think about other person's envy. Think about your own one. You need to dig it and take it out. Maybe when you were small, your mom gave you a pencil to somebody else, not to you. Or maybe in the office, someone was treating the same way. That example I gave from the office. I didn't get the job, the other person got the job. So I envy for that one. And then, now you analyze, why did I become envy that day? In the case of pencil, you would have taken that pencil as mine. In the case of that job over there, by the time I apply for that post, I took that job as mine. That's why I was not angry. I didn't have envy when they are promoting people in Afghanistan. It's not mine. It is this job. So in other words, we find Tathagata Dhamma, Buddha's Dhamma, the envy is coming from derogation. I took that job as mine. So having understood that one, then you get rid of it. And now since you had this envy thing for that person, and that person had a trouble, isn't it, because of your envy nature. How do I get rid of my former karma? The metta, loving kindness. So I spread the loving kindness to that person. These are not simple things. If you understand envy, if you understand what it is stemming from, that is the cause of that one, and then you get rid of it, then you go to the 5th jhana concentration. You see sort of black space. When there is no moon, there are no clouds. Far away you can see stars, 1 or 2 stars. That is space. Space is infinite. You go to the 5th jhana concentration with a noble understanding. What is the noble understanding? The envy is stemming from derogation. That is the noble understanding. And again, if someone knows derogation, makka, and then you get rid of the derogation, you find the cause for that one and then get rid of the derogation, then you see light. That light is your light. Your forehead, left side, is the faculty of mindfulness, and the forehead, right side, is the wisdom. These points, illuminated, so therefore you will see some light. That is the 6th jhana concentration. For you to do that one, you should understand how the derogation, how do I get derogation? Remember, I was taking qualities out of that, of a person. That it is actually coming from anger. So you take your own example. This because of the anger, I was taking the qualities out, from the departmental head and so on. So you find this link, and then you get rid of the derogation. As soon as you see the link, the derogation will go away. And then you get the light with a noble understanding. Similarly, if someone understands the disparaging, and then you understand the cause for disparaging, and you get rid of the disparaging, then you go into the 8th jhana concentration. Neither perception nor non-perception level. And then the stinginess. You see, when you are spreading loving kindness, so what is the, why it is not allowing you to go into a higher level of loving kindness? It is because of stinginess. Let us say, you can't go into the immeasurable state of loving kindness because of the stinginess. Let us say, there is an ant and there is an elephant. So you are spreading the loving kindness to, let ant be well, the dog be well. And when you come to the elephant, what will happen? You stop over there. You are seeing elephant is like this one is, how it is actually shaking the body and the beak. And if I have an elephant, it will be really useful, that it will actually help me to have these, logs dragging in my direction, And some people, a person having an elephant will be, treated with sort of honor in, certain countries, So, now you are not going to the front after the elephant. Let's say you want to spread loving kindness to a man or someone, you are stuck over here. Some sort of a gain because of the elephant. Now just imagine, the elephant is having a stomach pain and, crying. Then you look at the ant. You are saying this, look at this ant, it's going here and there and picking up things and doing the job. This other guy, the elephant, is sort of, crying and sort of thing. We are always going for this gain. So if you get rid of that one, you can go into the immeasurable state of loving kindness. That is metta, immeasurable state of metta. Metta pramana in Pali. So these are not simple terms. If you get rid of envy, you can go to the immeasurable state of compassion. The end point of that one is the space is infinite. If you get rid of derogation, you can go into the immeasurable state of appreciative joy, mudita pramana. And the end point would be the consciousness is infinite. If you get rid of the disparaging, then you can go to the immeasurable state of equanimity. The last point of that one is the neither perception nor non-perception, 8th jhana. So here we are talking about metta, karuna, mudita, upekka, loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, and then the equanimity, upekka. So I have given you many examples, so you take your own example and then sort of analyze why you actually do this song. I will tell you how the Sampati Mahabrahma trained me. There's this sort of a way of abuse in Sri Lanka. They say paraballa in Sinhala. Paraballa means, para means not mine. Balla means dog. There is no some sort of a similar saying in English for me to put it. So, Sampati Mahaprabhu was saying that explain from this diagram how this particular wording comes. It is also coming from this. For that one I took an example. Old days in Sri Lanka, people, the poor people, when they don't have food, they come around maybe 2 o'clock or so, 3 o'clock. They come into your house, and then if you have food, then you give it to them, they eat. And then they have some sort of gratitude those days, and some weeds are there in the garden, take it out and then go. Next day also, that person is coming again around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So you have some food left, so give it to that person. He is eating and taking couple of weeds out and then go. So after some time, maybe 2 weeks or so, this person that he is not stealing anything from you, then you ask, where are you? Sort of sleeping. And then this person is saying, I don't have any place, I just sleep under a tree also. So those days, people have got, quite a lot of properties. So at the end of your property, you sort of construct a hut or something. And this person will stay in that hut and then eating from your house and stay. Let us say one day when I am coming from my work, I see this person is in my enemy's house. What do you say? You say paraballa. That means when you say dog, you took the human qualities out over there. So that means you are coming through the third line. Para means not mine. Oh, he was never mine, isn't he? He was an outsider. But then I have made him part of me. How? I have come through this path, virtue and duty clinging. How do you see that? You see, when the Buddha is preaching Dhamma, Buddha is saying that if you give something to an animal, then you can expect as the return 100. If you give something to a human being, you can expect 1,000 in return. May not be in this birth, we are talking about next births and so on. So if you give to a person who is having virtue, then you can expect 100,000. If you give it to a stream enter, a Sotapanna, who has attained the first stage of sainthood, Buddha said, it is countless, not to speak about the once returner, never returner, Arahant and the Buddha. So in that case, I have given that particular person some food because I am going to get a ticket to be born in the divine world or becoming rich in the future. Now that person went to other person's house means that I lost my ticket. So I have made him part of me because of this virtue and duty clinging. So that's how this para, not mine, is occurring over here. So going through the second path and the third path, we construct, well, not my dog in the sense, paraballa. So this diagram is for you to use. Now if you are angry, which path you have come through? Is it the first path, the second, third or fourth? No, certainly you have come through the second one, because the anger is over here. So now you look at, why am I angry? So I must have come through this path. Then you go to the top, contact as nutriment. There is nothing in the contact. It's the I and the form, ear and the sound. Then you come down a little bit. That is the problem, virtue and duty clinging. You see, I have hold something for the future. When you are getting married, you might have thought, my wife is a good one, or my husband is a good one. When you are getting a baby, you might have thought, my baby is going to be a good one. He will or she will never scold at me. baby is not scolding at you and you are expecting that to be the case. But when they grow up, it is not the case, isn't it? So whatever thing you were holding, when you had a good time, you let go of that one, then the anger is nowhere to be found. So this is for using, not to just, put into a board and leaving it as a seed. So use those things that we are meditating on, the envy, stinginess, the derogation, and disparaging. Take your own example and analyze and why I had this envy nature on that day. And then you find the cause, why it is stemming from. You find the derogation. And then because I took that job as mine, for example. So then you can go to spaces infinite with a noble understanding. So that's the meditation.